Nice.
They got it together.
From Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9, from the City Hall Council Chambers, it's time once again for the Taxpayers Hotline Show. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host.
Well, I'm back. This is City Controller Kaz Kwiatkowski and my good friend.
I'm John Steiner with Mecca and the Perry 200.
Hey, John, thank you for filling in. I heard nothing but good reports.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a good show. We had some decent conversations going on, mixture of topics. We had a lot of callers calling in. It was slow at first, but I think a lot of people were listening to what Carl and I were talking about.
There's so much going on in the town at any given time, too.
Right. I think, this is a busy time of year. I think there's a lot of things going on. The Celebrate Erie Festival just ended.
Plus you had, let's see, numerous club picnics, numerous county fairs going on.
Right.
Baseball game.
Right. I think, they had the fireworks going on Saturday night, too. I came downtown for the Brett Michaels show, which was packed. The mayor said that he was I couldn't see from, his vantage point, but he said the crowd went all the way back through Perry Square, which was really, I know I was down by Scully's down there on the side, and it was shoulder to shoulder over there. So I think, everybody had a good time down there. And, Brett Michaels puts on a good show. He's from the Butler area.
Is he really?
Yeah, so he's familiar with what goes on around here. And he's a Butler boy.
There's a lot of people, a lot of entertainers that nobody knows about. I mean, that they're local, really.
I had heard that he was from Pittsburgh area, but I didn't know it was from Butler, to be specific.
Hey, we have a viewer. Look at that. They come from everywhere to see us.
He's peeping Tom through the window. I think that's a cop. He's got a badge. We were to call the cops on that. We were to call the cops on that cop. So how was Minnesota? What's going on up in Minnesota these days?
It was interesting. Very nice trip. It would surprise a lot of people that the weather is hot up there, but it shouldn't, because they have a lot of lakes, and
right.
They get blamed for us just like when they get a lot of cold.
Yeah.
They don't get a lot of snow in some areas, but
right.
It was interesting. I went all the way from Minneapolis, where my daughter lives. We took a ride up to Duluth, which is a very interesting city. A lot like Erie.
In what way?
Well, a Great Lakes city.
Right.
Trying to rediscover itself. At one time, the Duluth Superior region was much like Erie, where we were manufacturing. They were, that's where your ore shipments came out of. The use of the ore carriers, the seaport, the mining that was done in upper Minnesota. Go ahead, caller.
Did you ever check on that sidewalk by Jefferson there on 35th Street?
Yes, we did. I haven't. They didn't give me a definitive answer yet, but I turned it in, and I will get you an answer.
You've seen it then, right?
Yes, I did. I drove by there.
It's quite a mess there. You can't. Nobody can walk on it. I mean, I see people with strollers and that. They have to get on the street to go around there.
It's going to make me wonder whether that's part of a long-term project, which I'll have to check into.
It's been like that for quite a few years. I mean, when my grandkids were real small, and they're 12 years old now, it was like that. So it's been years.
I have a feeling that now that we got the curb cuts, it can't be too long after that we don't start getting complaints on sidewalks.
Yeah, it's even a little bad when going, up Old French there. It's not as bad though, but it's getting there.
Yeah, a lot of them are in bad shape, and that I think is definitely school district.
Yeah.
So they're probably reluctant with but something's got to happen there, because I can't see that, deteriorating to such a degree that now you got safety of kids involved too.
Yeah, there's a lot of people use that.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of events. I was surprised. One day I took my grandson up there when he was in town, and there was a lot of people using it because they use that lower field for sports and all along that area.
They even even have, I think, cheerleading practice there. They have all kind of things there, baseball games.
Yeah, there was football practice.
Yeah, a lot of
At
people.
one time, the old Academy band used to practice there too. So I mean, it's a lot of there's a lot of usage on those streets around there.
But all it takes is someone to sprain their ankle or something and sue the city or something. You know?
Yeah, I'm gonna make a definitive. There's a number of complaints around that whole area. Not only that, but the drainage problem is another one that comes up all the time.
Okay, that's all I wanted.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, that whole area over there is.
Would the school district be responsible for the sidewalks or the city?
Yes, they would.
That's their
Property
property.
owner is definitely responsible for sidewalks. That's why it's such a touchy issue with,
Yeah.
Go ahead, caller.
Hey, you ready for the weekend?
Yeah, that's right. You saving us seats over there?
This is Polish weekend. This is it. This is the big
You know
one.
what this is, right?
Lloyd?
Yeah,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
Lloyd, you can save us some seats?
Yes. Hey,
Yeah.
thank you for giving the people at 38th and Peach.
Oh, you mean you should thank,
The chief?
the people were well aware of it in the city, even when I brought it up, that I think that now that the public's starting to complain more, they're moving them. Now, I understand they're going to other places, so,
You have the Mill Creek Mall now.
well, they've been there, but
Yeah, they've been on the.
somebody told me they're moving in different areas of the city too, so as you see them, if the public tells us, we'll be able to. I know I talked to David Rocco, he was one, and the police are definitely, interested also.
I'll be right there, Bart. Well, I gotta get up, Kathy. Just wanted to let you know.
Okay, hey, Lloyd, I'll see you this weekend.
Okay.
This weekend is the big Zabava?
Yeah, you said it right.
Zabava? You like that? I have Polish in me. I'm Steiner, but
We'll make you.
there's Polish there.
You gotta eat the charnina first.
I'm like a mutt. I'm like a mix
Till
of
you eat the
everything.
charnina, you're not there yet. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, let's talk about bridges.
Oh, you know what I read an article, John? I was.
Read an article in Sunday's paper, did you?
Was that where I read it? Well, I read it actually in a couple. I read it on my way back from Minnesota in the Chicago paper. It said Pennsylvania was one of the, I think the 5, if I got the numbers right, one of the 5 worst states with bridges.
Oh yeah, I saw Brennan was a contributor for the Times News. It more or less was like a political ploy, saying he wants to get the viaduct in. Yeah, that guy's got more baloney than Smith's. What's happening to the Norman Way? Did we run out of money for that one down there?
No, I understand. The money's there, John. It's been there.
I think we could have had the Indians come in and build a bridge
Right.
in less time than they've tied it all up.
I will assure you that I have seen the request for, well, how that works is the funds were brought into, it's a combination of where the Commonwealth and the city are working together.
Yeah, just think of the Commonwealth, the city, and the federal government to put a McCain Viaduct in, which is a waste.
Well, I will tell you this about Norman Way. I have seen the bills come through. The money has been released. The payments are being made. It is amazing, and I'm sure my friends in the engineering world will tell me I'm all wet, but it does seem like it takes a long time to build a bridge.
It does. Yeah, right. That's why they build these superstructures in San Francisco and Minnesota and whatever. They come in with a preformed bridge and just set it and drop it.
Well, the one in Minnesota, actually, I was there. I saw it when it was down.
And 4 weeks later, it was up.
Well, not that long, but it took, it was a lot quicker. Now, maybe that has to do with the size of the metropolitan area. And also, remember the bridge I was in New Orleans, the Lake Pontchartrain Bridge? Mm-hmm. The one they showed that the weather was battering and was in poor shape?
Yes.
Well, I drove on the bridge that was in poor shape while they were building a new one, and even though it seemed like it took long, they expedited that pretty fast.
Well, there's an outfit, I forget the name of it, but they build bridges in Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
skip them out. And all they do is lay the foundations and put it right down in there, and nothing is tied up. And they're very fast and efficient.
Yeah, it does seem like they're taking a long time. I mean,
Well, I don't know. Maybe they ought to open that road up for wheelchairs to get through. They opened it up for motorcycles to get through.
you know, I got to plead ignorance that I don't understand, whether it's a problem with shoring up both sides of where the bridge is. But yeah, it does seem like for something that small, you wouldn't think it would take that long.
I don't even think it's a car and a half bridge. I think it's a single car bridge there.
Well, I think it's going to be different now, John. It has to be. So, I mean, but even...
I won't hold my breath.
But even when you look at it, the span of it is not that...
Yeah.
It's kind of like the one... Maybe I'm all wet. It's kind of like the one out in the...
It's more than 60 feet long.
The Presque Isle area where I don't think that took more than a... So how long did it take to put that one up?
I don't know about the bridge on Route 8. They'll have that done before Norman Way.
You mean the one out there by I-90?
Wager Road. Yeah.
Yeah. That, I didn't think that was a bridge, but...
Yep, they'll have that done before that.
It's hard to make. A lot of places you don't think are bridges are bridges.
Yeah, that's true. But I see we got a little bit of kickback or a little bit of results on Vendetti's lot over there.
What happened?
Looks like they cut a little bit of it and they killed the rest of it. Now a kid can go in and throw a match and have a nice little fire down there.
Well, you mean the car wash up on...
Yeah, on 38th Street.
Well, the public's been complaining long enough, and I've constantly told them, I said, it's an eyesore, so, maybe finally somebody got through.
Well, they sprayed it, and now it's all dead and all dried out where a match or a cigarette will go in there, and there'll be a little fire down there.
Oh, let's hope not. Like, what's happening on, German Street, that's not...
Yeah, that sounds to me like we've got a pyro net out there.
If there's never no good in anything, but if there is a plus side, at least it's the old buildings are being now removed,
Well, that's true there with that land banking deal, and of course, John Elliott, they want to give $1 million plus to the redevelopment authority of gaming money, which should go to a better thing than a land bank for the redevelopment authority.
I just don't want to see firemen hurt or...
No, we don't want to see any of that.
Or people, and that's not...
I thought they said that the original fire that was on 3rd and German was accidental.
Was on 3rd and German, and then there was another one up the street.
Right.
A few nights later.
Right, so I don't know if it's an arsonist type thing.
No. I'm an Lower East Sider, and it smells of it to me.
Yeah, but
How did we make out with the crossing lights, the walk signs? I see they're a mess throughout the whole city.
I just talked to the engineer today. I caught her. She was on her way to a project. Believe it or not, she does work very hard. I know people don't believe it. I gave her a couple problems which she was going to look into real quick. And I brought up your complaint, John. And what I'm going to need, I'm going to have to go around. If people can call me and tell me where they think there's one malfunctioning.
Are you really serious?
No. I'm saying if I get some definitive ones.
I'll lay it out for you in a nutshell.
Okay, give them me, John.
99% of the city.
Of the no crosswalks?
Yes, 99%.
Well,
Now, I'll lay it out for you in a nutshell. I only saw one working, and I don't recall where that was. I saw the white hand come up, and I said, holy cow, how did they mistake this?
Well, what do you think? Wait a minute. When you say they're not working, they're not on, or what?
Showing everybody to stop with through traffic and with cross traffic. They're showing the orange hand. Now, how am I going to teach my grandkids to cross? Well, the traffic is going east and west. It's showing you can cross or stop there. If it's going north and south, the orange hand is up where you can cross there. How do you teach a youngster to go with and against the traffic?
Hey, John, let me pick you up this week. We'll take a ride. You want to?
No problem.
Okay, I want to see that because I've been watching a couple of them. I thought there was only a few.
You can't miss them. It's throughout the whole city. Like I said, 99%. And on sidewalks, you're talking about sidewalks? Following the complaints because of down on Jefferson, it should be taken care of?
Right.
Well, let's get up to Beach Avenue, Trask Avenue, Sassafras, south of 38th Street.
Yeah, you know that ain't gonna happen.
Well, that's right, because the guy down there in code enforcement, he's backing into his check every week.
Well, nobody has, first of all, you're talking about the ones that are lacking sidewalks?
No, these are the sidewalks.
That are in bad shape?
They're 18, 19, 20 inches above the curve line. The trees are big super maples. I think they were here with the Indians. That's how big they are. Up there by Ruth's house, up in that area. You know, I won't say the last name. She has it on a shelter.
Well, I'm gonna pick you up this week, so.
Well, give me a call.
Yeah, 'cause I want to take a ride with you. I want to see, you know.
I'd like to be a
On your way
fly in
home
that car.
tonight, just look. You'll see them. You can't miss them. You cannot miss them.
Okay, usually I don't stop and look at them, so what I'll do.
Yeah, I know.
Driving along the streets, you can just see them.
All right, I'm going to pay attention when I drive home. You know, you don't
Because
really...
what I'm going to do, John, I'm going to turn in at least.
You don't have
As
to,
many-
like I said, 99%. Go across all the way across 38th Street, go up Parade Street, go up State Street, go over Peach Street. You can't miss them.
Well, I'm going to the ball game tonight, so I'll try the ones downtown too.
Yeah, I went to a ball game last night. And I saw my buddy A-Rod get brushed. Did you see that replay?
Where'd you go to the ball game?
Right here in front of the TV set.
Oh, okay.
Boston.
You know, in my day, he would have been brushed. He would have been down.
Oh, you can't brush him because the umpire came out and warned both benches.
That's what's wrong with baseball, John.
Sabathia didn't even get a chance to knock down Artez.
It was an honor to get knocked down in my day.
In my day, if you got over the plate where you didn't belong, you'd be on your fanny.
Yep, and that was great. That was part of
the game.
Yep.
It's just like football now, 5 yards and they put a powder puff on you. So, well, we'll let somebody else come in. Give me a call.
Okay, I am going to take him up on it.
I'd like to be a fly in that car when you two are driving around.
I want to say I didn't think they were as bad as he said he was. I mean, I've seen a few out, okay, and the one thing, like I turned in about 2 or 3 intersections today that I saw like lights were off and. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Kaz,
Yes.
I got a question for you about baseball.
What's that?
Oh, he knows this one, I think. It's trivia. What's the 2 guys' names in the Baseball Hall of Fame that never played on a baseball team and never coached on a baseball team, but yet they're in the Baseball Hall of Fame? Do you know that?
Well, they have to be, one of them has to be an owner.
No.
It's
They're not
not?
owners, never played on a baseball team, and never coached a baseball team.
Umpires?
They're not announcers or umpires
Got to
either.
be announcers or umpires.
No, not announcers or umpires.
Uh-oh.
He doesn't know.
I think you got me.
John knows it, huh, John?
I know what it is, yeah.
You know who it is?
Yeah.
Give me one.
I think John knows it.
If I give you one, you'll know the other one. Well, let's give them some time to think. Let's give the callers some time to
So
call
you're
in.
saying no umpires?
No umpires, no owner, no player.
No
There's
announcers?
2 people in the Hall of Fame for baseball that nobody...
They're
that
they're in the Hall of Fame for baseball.
but they have...
I'll let the callers call in, let John says, and see if anybody out there knows it.
All right.
Okay?
Okay.
Buddy.
He stumped a master of trivia.
They're not owners. They're not owners. They're not announcers.
Not umpires.
And they're not umpires or players. So if anybody out there knows, there are probably some people Googling it out there right
Not
now.
Abner Doubleday.
Nope.
See, that would have been an obvious one.
Right. But he's the one that invented it.
Not Spalding.
Nope. But yeah, I didn't get it either. But
You didn't get
after
it
a while-
either?
Yeah, eventually he had to tell me. But
That'd be a real trick question.
it's kind of tricky.
You mean
yeah.
they're actually honored in the Hall of Fame?
They're in the Hall of
With a
Fame.
plaque.
Yeah, they're honored, yeah. But I don't think anybody's going to get it. I think somebody just got it.
Go ahead, caller.
Oh, yes, I'm calling. I called a couple of weeks ago, and that was a perfect example. The person that came on and had a problem,
Yes.
and you didn't have an answer. You were gone. You took us. You had no idea what to do, and you didn't take care of his problem.
Okay, what was the problem?
4th Street there and so forth, that business up there.
What do you say? I'm sorry.
Which one was that?
The first guy that called and asked the question if you...
About 35th Street.
Yeah.
The 30th situation.
Yeah.
You did nothing about it, and you have it on your list there, and you never said nothing at the beginning of the program that you didn't do anything about it.
This must be the same guy.
And you still have no idea what you can do about it. Is that it, or what?
No, it's very simple. You go up to the school district and you can talk to them, but the city has no power unless the Enforcement Bureau decides they want to press the issue.
And that's school district property.
Yeah, and you and I both know those decisions are not made by council or any elected official. And, you know, I can do what I can do, but I cannot force anybody here to cite the Erie School District, and that's what it'll come down to.
Well, why didn't you answer this guy's question when the program came on?
I did answer. I told him, I said, I'm in the process of working on it.
Oh.
You think everything can happen in 1 minute? I mean, if you think that, then...
the wheels of government work very slowly.
Yeah, nothing happens overnight. I could get in the paper tomorrow, make a big announcement, which has no backing to it, or I can sit here and try to work through my connections at the school district and my connections here, and maybe something happens. Just like John said, do you think that they cleaned up the property at what do you call it? 38th Street, the car washes, which a very prominent citizen owns? Do you think that you just go up there and threaten somebody? No, nobody's going to do that. Public pressure and enough people like myself around here that started bugging people until he finally got the word.
You know, Kaz may not answer the question right off the bat, but he does have the answers. And to be honest with you, I don't know anybody else in this building that you can actually get on the phone, ask, you know, tell them your problem, and have somebody at least try to do something about it.
In fact, I'll challenge you. Go up there right now, call anybody in administration, and none of them are on the show, number one. Ask them if they'll take your thing serious. Ask them what they're going to do about 35th Street.
Have you ever walked up into Zimmerman's office and...
Yes, I have. He don't want to talk. Andy Zimmerman and I have argued and talked together many times. He knows my feelings on many subjects. I've told him what I think about the sidewalk ordinance. I told him what I think about a lot of things. He does not work for me. He does not work for council. He takes his orders from other people, and that's how it works around here. So if you work hard enough and long enough, eventually with public pressure and enough coercement, you will get what you want.
See, Kaz doesn't even know this, what I'm about to tell you, but like when I'm here in the building, if I have other business that I'm working on, I'll go into some of these other departments, and believe me, they tell me that Kaz is sometimes a pain in the ass. So he's in there, he's being a pain in the ass for you. Believe me, and where nobody else in this building will be.
Have you ever walked up into the mayor's office and talked to him and demanded some really critical situations, demanded to him, let this Zimmerman do... I know he doesn't have all the people he needs to do his job, but it seems like it's not being done. There's not enough people, and something should be done.
And let me ask you this, and I've heard the same thing from other people. Have you ever called the mayor?
No, because...
Why?
Well, you didn't have... No. Well, why should I call him? What the heck?
You have as much say as I do. I may be elected, but I have no more power than...
I mean, Kaz is... I'm not sticking up for Kaz because I like him, but Kaz is the city controller. He has his own responsibility. He is not the mayor. I mean, technically, if you have complaints or anything, you're supposed to come to city council, correct?
Yeah.
I mean, your job is to make sure that everything is audited and that the spending and the budgets are all going the way they're supposed to go. Not take complaints about phone light, but as an elected official, that's something you choose to do, and that's something that Kaz does. And believe it or not, he may not give the answer right away. He may not get them to do anything right away, but he is out there trying to do something. And that is a lot more than I can say about a lot of other people in this building. And it's not because they don't care. It's because they don't have the time.
Okay, I agree, but he seems like he agrees with virtually everything the mayor does.
Wait a minute. Now, you made that comment last week, and I'm going to give you more time than I ever gave anybody. I want you to explain, and I mean, I really want you to tell me in what instance did I ever back the mayor unequivocally that you can prove? I want to hear one specific thing.
All the things that he's done wrong.
Like, what has he done wrong? Be specific now. I don't want generalities anymore. I don't care. I have argued with this mayor, and I have argued with the other mayor.
I didn't call you a rubber stamp.
Yeah, well, you did make that comment. Don't let me pull the tape up.
And would be that you get on council, you will be a rubber stamp.
Well, your comment to me was that he already has enough rubber stamps,
Correct.
which is just like saying that I am a rubber stamp.
No.
And I want to tell you something. It was I that fought the previous mayor, even against council's wishes.
Not this mayor, though.
Well, this mayor and I have not had any disagreements. While I may not yell at him publicly, he and I have argued about many things in a very civilized manner that I have done with him face to face.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong too, Kaz, but under the prior administration, we were on the brink of Act 47.
Right.
We were going broke. Whereas, do I agree with what Joe Sinnott does and everything as the mayor? No. Is he perfect? No. But we are in the black. So as Kaz is the city controller, his job is to oversee the budget and audit and make sure everybody's keeping their finances in check.
I got to tell you, the mayor has done nothing. This last 8 years compared to my first 4, there has been nothing done that I as auditor would have to investigate that was illegal. So I mean,
illegal. I'm talking about costs on the taxpayer. First of all, the driving with the cell phones, the Kohler project, what the heck?
Okay, let me put it to you this way.
With the fruit plant, all these things. 19th, the story there. Never once did you say he handled that wrongly.
Well, first of all, I cannot.
It up. You sidestepped it and walked around.
Wait a minute, it's not my job to question the...
One word against this mayor.
No, it's not my job to question the cell phone policy.
It's Kaz's job to just do auditing on the
I do not have a vote on council. We got to remember, everything that you talk about, previous councils have passed.
I mean, council is the one that handles the overall budget. That's their number one job, is being on city council, is to oversee the budget. Kaz's job is to just make sure that everybody is spending the money where it's allocated to without any type of fraud or theft.
I still say people that called in and said things about the wrong things the mayor did, the store on 19th and Parade, the juice plant.
Well, those were done actually under the previous mayor now.
All these things that people called in and said, which was handled wrongly, but Kaz never said one.
Wait a minute. Now there's where you're wrong.
One time that he agreed that this was wrong, and until this day he doesn't do that.
The juice plant, and what was the other thing you mentioned?
What? The Kohler plant.
Those are all done under the previous administration.
And Kaz
and I went to court. Yeah. I guess you missed that part where I was taken to the court twice by the previous mayor. Twice I had to go, and nobody, I don't hear you or anybody else that was worried about what was going to happen to me, because I was being charged as a private citizen for a while too.
Kaz butted heads with them while those fiascos were going on. And there's a whole slew of reasons why that thing.
My own newspaper, hometown newspaper, called me a charlatan for even trying to. How dare I go against anything the mayor said?
Well, the newspaper was in love with Mayor Filippi at the time.
Right now, the juice plant that was under the previous administration. So was everything. There was nothing. If I disagree with the mayor on anything, and I have told him, he knows my feelings, and I've gone to the meetings that I was not in favor of the McBride Viaduct project as was presented, being closed down.
When did you first start saying that?
When did I say it?
Yeah.
I went to all the meetings. You can ask Father Proscaro. There's no secret. I tend not to be a very public person. I don't need to go to the paper to tell them, because they're not, number one, if the paper wanted my opinion, they would come and ask me, but they know they've never done that. I've never been on their good side, so I don't worry about that.
I think the public needs to understand that when the city council comes to sit at these chairs right here, the decisions and everything have already been made as to what they're going to back, what they're going to support, what they're going to do in the caucus room. That's where everything takes place. Out here, it's just a public forum where they already know what's going to happen. They already know what the votes are going to be. It's been a done deal. So, I mean, Kaz tends to, Kaz is somebody that's on the taxpayer's side. He's not a rubber stamp for anybody, and if he does get elected to city council, he will not be it, because he's developed enough name recognition, he's been serving the public long enough to where he doesn't need support from anybody to win an election. He doesn't need support from anybody. So therefore, he can choose to be his own man, make his own decisions, question what he thinks the taxpayers question. And I can tell you right now, a lot of people that are on this council, they don't. So honestly, I'm not saying this because he's my friend, but the people out there, they're kind of lucky to have him.
I know he's a good guy, and I just somehow have a personal thing that he's being led by the mayor.
No, you know what?
Afraid of. I hope that doesn't happen.
Well, if I ever played the safe game, I'm probably the stupidest politician there ever was, because I've done a lot of things in my time that were not what should have been done. I tend to think things out, and I don't take orders from anybody. I never have. I never will. I'll make you this promise. If you come down to my office, even if I'm not here, you will be able to talk to me within 5 minutes. And I'll challenge anybody here that you could do that anywhere else in the city. You may not like my answer, but you'll be able to talk to me in 5 minutes, or sit in my office.
Well, let's look at the county. Let's look at the county situation as
I
well.
agree.
I mean, Sue Weber, when she was in office, her and Mark DeVecchio butted heads all the time. She liked to be on the news. Yeah. She enjoyed this, the spotlight. It made it look like she was doing something. But now that Sue Weber's not in office, they have the new woman in there. I can't even remember her name.
Mary Schaaf.
Mary Schaaf, yeah. I mean, you haven't heard one word from her, because Barry Grossman, whether you agree with him or not, has not been, making bold decisions regarding budgets, giving people raises out of control. So if there's no reason for that's the controller's main job. You don't see anybody from the county calling her or calling her at home to complain about streetlights or something that's going on in the county. So
okay, thank you. I'm going to let you guys go.
Okay. I just want you to know, when I do bring it up, and I've talked to the newspaper, they don't want to publish my opinions.
No.
So I tend to, you can ask any councilman, you can ask the mayor himself.
You're boring.
If I don't bang him every day about what I think is wrong with East Side development, or what my vision is of the Bayfront.
Okay.
Or any
have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
I think he got tired of talking to us.
Well, I just bugs me,
Well, like I said, you've been around long enough. You have enough. You've done enough. You've been elected enough times where you can be your own person.
You know what? If it all ends tomorrow, it wouldn't matter a bit to me. I'm happy where I've been. Good afternoon. Go ahead.
On a lighter note, let's get back to that phony baloney question.
Which one?
The Hall of Famers.
What was the answer now, John?
Oh, come on. There isn't anyone that is in the Hall of Fame that didn't play baseball. The only two you can think of is probably that old goofy routine, who's on first.
You got it.
They didn't put them in the Hall of Fame.
They are in the Hall of Fame. Yes,
Abbott and Costello?
Abbott and Costello are in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
There's a travesty in the game. Well, John, some of the announcers never played baseball.
No, but they're in for Ernie Harwell.
There are a few that are in the Hall of Fame.
Did you hear what happened with that one?
Luke Costello, that's...
Do you hear what really happened though recently?
Who's on first? What's on second? Who's on second?
I don't know who's on third.
They found it. This was a true story. Google it on Google it somewhere on MSN.
Yeah.
MLB.
Yeah. Well, something happened where they found a guy and they said, this finally puts to rest the Abbott and Costello joke. There was a person of Asian extraction. You know what his name was?
No.
Who?
Oh.
He was on first. And they said, there's the answer to their question. Who is on first?
Yeah.
I'll give you.
And this is true. You look it up and you'll laugh.
Who was the first class of Hall of Famers? I'll tell you the year.
Let me think. I used to know that. Was that Ty Cobb?
Ty Cobb,
Yeah. Honus Wagner?
Honus Wagner, Christy Mathewson, and Walter Johnson.
Wow, the big train.
The big train.
I see those guys, their numbers that they put up back in, they'll never be. Like Cy Young,
Yeah.
like 500-something wins.
Well, I'll tell you what, if they were ever on a team, $200 million wouldn't cover their salaries today.
John's a Yankee fan. Ask him how many home run Baker hit.
How many who?
How many home run Baker hit?
Baker?
Yeah.
I think he had 5 one year, and that was home run Baker. He was in a dead ball era.
I liked Kiner.
Ralph Kiner.
Yeah, he was a good one.
Was he, that wasn't the Poison, what? No, that was the Wainers.
Yeah. Well, just like Davis today, they're going to question him about if he's taking enhanced drugs. Of course, the ball is different today.
Hey, John, I just got back from Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
And the Mall of America is built over the footprint of the old Metropolitan Stadium.
Yeah.
So up on the wall, they have a chair hanging.
And it's Harmon Killebrew.
It says, "Thank you, Harmon." No, I mean, seriously now, right? So then I walked over to home plate, which is at the other end of it's in the area what you call the amusement park.
Yeah.
And, the field was actually, the amusement park is where the field was, and where the stands were is where the stores are. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking, I'm going, my son-in-law goes, "My God, my daughter goes, that's a long way, isn't it?" I go, "Yep," and they didn't take juice.
Any baseball fan today, especially in these next 2 weeks, who's not watching a Little League World Series, they don't know what they're missing. That is baseball at its truest.
Yeah, I was watching a little bit of it yesterday. It seems like every year these kids are getting 14-year-olds, or they got like a 6'4" 14-year-old.
There's a couple of them around, a couple of different teams, 6'4".
They better check birth certificates.
Like that, remember that Danny Elmara, or what was his name?
Yeah, that kid from...
He was from the U.S., wasn't he? He was from the U.S. team.
No, I don't
Oh,
think so.
it was Brooklyn.
From one of the other towns.
I thought it was Brooklyn, or it was a New York team or
Well, that's
something.
out of town.
Yeah, I mean, not out of the country, though.
Well, some New Yorkers say.
I think it was the East. He was from one of the United States teams, so in New York. So that would be what?
Played for Trenton?
Yeah, they were like the Northeast or
Yeah, somewhere in there.
however they break
I'll
that
get
up.
off other people want to yap. Have a
Okay,
great day.
you know what that means, John? I got to buy a
Watch out who's on first.
I got to buy
Who's
a
on
milkshake
first?
when we take that car ride now.
Yeah, you'll buy me a milkshake. Bye.
I didn't even know. I would have never guessed that who's on first people were in the Hall of Fame.
I didn't know they threw them in there.
Yeah, they're in there. I would have never guessed. He had to tell me.
Go ahead, caller.
Yes, this is Taxpayer's Hotline, not Major League Baseball.
I know, but we get sidetracked. Go ahead, you got the form.
I do. And my question to you, Kaz, is
Yes.
if you were the overseer, how did the garage get away with all that baloney? You're talking to somebody whose husband worked there for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Ray Pagliari ran the parts department.
Yeah, well, ma'am, the parts department is not run by the city.
Well, it should be.
Well, it isn't, and you made a comment, so...
Yeah.
Okay, now your comment was whether the city controller has a right to go into a private business and audit them.
No, I'm not saying that.
Yes, you are, because you're not... The fact that...
Look, I've been waiting long enough.
Yeah, well, you got your point. Now say it, and I'll give you the right answer.
I'm telling you, when Ray Pagliari ran it, you had to have a parts number. You had to know what vehicle it was going in.
Right.
That Napa guy stole more than anybody did.
Right, but Napa now runs the parts department.
Yeah, but the thing is, that was the worst mistake the city made.
Okay, but now why does that reflect on why I didn't catch it?
Why didn't you get any of the paperwork?
Napa had their own accounting system, ma'am. That is,
The garage is run by the cities, Kaz.
yes, we get let me ask you this. We get the work orders, and they match up. And now if somebody at their end did something like that, you know who caught the problem was their internal auditors, because their man was monkeying with their system.
Yeah, well, it should have been caught if it was a person in the garage that worked for the city, they would have caught it. Ray would have. He did two inventories.
As you said, ma'am, as you said, well, rightly so. It was a mistake.
I'm just saying.
It was a mistake turning it over to a private corporation.
It was.
Okay.
And the thing is,
now we both agree on that.
painted all those workers with the same brush, and that was unfair. There's good men working there, and they got no credit at all.
Ma'am, you need to talk to the police who did the investigation, and you need to talk to Napa with their internal problem.
Well, the city should go back to running it themselves.
And we both agree on that.
Go to the lowest bidder.
Right, we agree on that, but bringing in, what happened in the past is not relevant to what happened today. That is a private business that runs that, and it was their man that was doing what he did and got caught by.
He stole more than anybody.
You want to?
So you're saying that everybody stole a little bit?
No.
Well, yeah, you just said that.
I did not say that.
What did she say?
I said there's good men working in that garage, and they were painted with the same brush as everybody else.
You said he stole more than, what was the comment?
The ones charged.
Well, then they stole too, though. Yeah, that's what you said.
There's good men in that garage.
Yes, we both agree on that, but I'm not saying.
Well, they didn't take anything.
It's not up to me to decide. The police filed the charges.
The police and the mayor, and they never offered an apology to the good men working there either.
Want me to let you on a little bit of scoop that I've been hearing on the streets?
I don't know. Maybe you don't want to hear it, but go ahead.
Those guys might be getting their jobs back.
Well, that's disgusting. And I know them personally, and I feel bad for their families, but I don't feel bad for them.
Well, and since you know, did they steal or didn't they?
How that? Oh, don't get smart, Cat.
Well, no, I'm just asking. Did they steal or didn't they?
They found the stuff in their house. That's all I have to say.
Well, then, you know what? To me.
Taxpayers Hotline, not Major League Baseball and other garbage.
Well, you know what?
Hi.
Hey, thank you. And so the public understands that is a private company running the parts department. Private.
And people want public and private partnerships, and look what happens.
That's all I'm going to say.
Look what happens.
Go ahead, caller.
How'd you like to wake up to that every morning?
She has a right to her opinion, but, the comment that got me was, well, this guy stole more than the other guys. And I don't know what happened because, you know what? It's a police investigation. It happened with a private company concerning city employees, and you know what? The police will take care of it, and so will the court. Go ahead, caller. Hope he's off, right?
Yeah. She's a little fired up today.
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree with her. It might have been run great in the old days, but guess what? That's not what's happening now.
I mean, when you run it, there's a risk. Everybody wants privatization of this, privatization of that. Save the taxpayer dollar here, save the taxpayer dollar there. But guess what? The grass isn't always greener on the other side.
No.
You have no control over those over the private aspect of a public-private partnership. So you're going to have that kind of thing.
It was like when we had the incident with the traffic court. And that involved the state, not the city, but yet, everybody, the media sometimes jumped to the wrong conclusion quick without understanding who's really in charge.
From what I understood, from what I've heard, the guy from Napa has a history of this, a history. Yeah. So it's possible that these guys might actually have to get their jobs back. Public-private partners. The grass isn't always greener on the other side.
And their system caught it because he was manipulating their system.
Right. Their checks and balances caught it. I mean, it's a double-edged sword. You want to save money, but then again, the foul play is out of control when you don't have enough checks and balances to curtail something like that.
People think that audits catch everything. They don't, because audits are random.
You don't audit everything.
No.
It's not like you say, all right, everybody bring your information here, we're auditing everything.
Yeah.
The way the county does it, you pick a department, or you pick one area a year. Correct?
Yeah, and here's the difference. The county audits after the fact.
Right.
We audit before the fact.
You do pre and post, don't you? Or just pre?
We do pre we have to do.
Right.
Post we can do.
Right.
But our audit, according to our city charter, that's why we get all the stuff ahead of time, okay? But you got to remember, not everything is, like when she was bringing up the parts garage, okay, they write a work order, okay?
Right.
the work orders internally, so we get some of that, but how do you know, even if you went down there, you know, you're not in the garage working, right?
Right.
And there's supposed to be enough checks and balances, but here was a case where, and I don't know the whole reasoning, but you're dealing with a private company.
Yep.
And you had another flying ointment.
Yep. I mean, whenever they want, privatizing the garbage, let's say, that's great. Let's do it. Let's save money. But when you have somebody else come in to do the work, they can raise their rates when they want to. You have no control of who they hire, what they're doing. The government has no control over what these private businesses are doing.
It's like we have privatization in City Hall and other areas, and they're not even living up to those contracts. You can't, by the time you catch them, then they put, they don't put enough people on board.
Right.
It's not always, privatization is never always good.
It's a double-edged sword.
Go ahead, caller.
I've been there and done that, John. I have a question, though. You say that the mechanics may all be retaining their job. What about the ones that were supervisors?
I'm not exactly sure what everybody's specific, situation is. I just overheard that most of the guys it's possible that they may be getting their jobs back, and that there's people in the mayor's office that aren't happy about that, but there may be nothing that they can do because of I may be mistaken.
I know where you're coming from, I know.
Right. So it's like they're in a position where, between the union and all the, everything they got going on there.
I was in that position years ago, so.
That they could be reinstated.
Yeah.
But it's not what the mayor wants. From what I understand.
Just like he's got cameras in the garage now watching, and I don't know how the union agreed to do that, but they got to put a camera in his office too. Have a great day.
Boy, we got a lot of people that.
These are good shows, Cass.
Yeah, they got fired up today.
That's
okay.
That's good. This show. I mean, she is kind of right. We shouldn't be talking about baseball, but baseball. I mean, 2-3 minutes out of an hour. I mean, it's okay, but. We've been covering a lot of city stuff these last few weeks.
Yeah.
And I think, the shows have been going pretty good.
Well, we're going to be busy because John and I are taking a little ride.
That's a scary thought.
Well, it'll be okay.
You're going to come back here with 5 different notepads and notes. You drive around with John.
There was a question brought up about that church on 38th Street.
Okay.
So I'm going to head down and find out the answer.
Well, there were some questions last week that they had. This is the first time I've seen her talk to me. Since then, I don't know if you had a chance to watch a replay.
No, I haven't. I was going to.
Yeah.
Anything good?
Just some questions about traffic lights, and I'm trying to think offhand.
Well, I did. Like I say, I ran into the engineer today, and she's very receptive. I know a lot of people say she isn't, but that's not far from the case.
Right.
She will get back to me, and she does check things out. Sometimes, not everything is as the public thinks it should be. In other words, like when you talk about synchronization, that was always the big key word. Synchronization, what we think it is and what they think it is are two different things.
Right.
But, no, there are, every once in a while, the public will bring stuff up and with traffic lights, and she's been very good about fixing it.
There was a question about the traffic lights on the Bayfront, or something on the street, as the street lights on the Bayfront. I had wrote it down, it's in my car.
I had it marked down. Some of them are state, some of them are Port Authority, some are city.
Right.
It just depends what section you're in.
That's what we talked about, yeah. But I wrote them down. They're in the car. That's the gentleman that calls here once in a while from 13th Street. Remember, he was going over to the. They kept dumping stuff on 13th Street.
Yeah.
And he called and said that the city had done something. He said he called you one time, got into it with you, and then called and apologized. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I know his voice, but I don't think he's ever given his name.
The city's been.
And he called and said the city did something.
Yeah, they've been doing it. Sometimes I get, we get a little, even I get a little upset because they're doing things they shouldn't be doing, but you can't leave it out there, laying out there.
Right.
You got people that are abusing.
Well, like I explained to the people that just because something doesn't happen right away, that you do try to do something. It's just that they're not working on the same time schedule as you are. To you it's top priority. To them it's
one of the things I was
middle to the low priority range.
Remember we got that call about Liberty Plaza, right? And the next day it was done.
I mean,
You know that got done because somebody upstairs told me they were watching the show and they were embarrassed.
Yeah, and I explained to them, I said, people in the building do watch this show, and how Mr. Klemzoff and those guys help us all the time.
Yep, it just maybe not happens when you want
It
it
just
to.
doesn't happen when they want it.
Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, hey, Kaz, I call about from 33rd and Holland to 38th and Holland, those weeds.
Yeah, we brought that up. I told him, I said, I'm going to have to get together with take Public Works down there and somebody else because it involves the city and the school district in those areas.
Well, we were over in Europe for a couple of weeks, came back, and the one there on 36th Street there in Holland, looks like we might have some tomatoes coming out of there pretty soon. I don't know if they're cherry or regular tomatoes.
Yeah, I'm trying to, I don't think that's streets. I think some of them are actually the sewage department.
I called the streets a couple of times, and they said they were going to take care of it, and nothing's happened yet, so I just thought you want to know.
Well, you know, we're gonna, John and I, we got time to call them right now.
Okay.
We can find out. That's,
Streets?
yeah.
1340.
You're talking about the ones right along, you said,
One on 36th there on the east side there by Jefferson.
yeah.
Really bad.
And
I think we looked at it there one time.
And the ones going up Holland too, right?
Yeah, but the one on 36th there is growing out of them and around it, so looks like a big bush there.
We'll call them. I'm trying to remember if it was sewers or them that had to do it, but we're going to call right now. Okay?
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Ready, John?
Do it.
Let's see. There we go.
Again. Whoop.
We'll find out. Here we go.
Nice.
Streets Department, Mark.
Hey, Mark, this is Kaz. We're on Taxpayer Hotline right now. Hello, Mark. Hello. Whoa. We got a little issue there, huh? Wait a minute, did I do it right?
Streets Department, Mark.
Hey, Mark, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, this is Kaz on Taxpayer Hotline.
Yeah, how's it going, Cass?
Good. Hey, a quick question. When weeds grow out of the sewers and, you know, the different things along the street, is that you or sewer department?
Well, if it's different things along the street, it'd probably fall into the Streets Department. If they're coming out of the sewer, it's probably going to fall into the Sewer Department.
Okay, because we got taxpayers, one guy in particular is saying that some of the drain covers, they have like weeds coming out of them, grass and...
Yeah, those sound like they're going to need to be sucked out with the sucker machine.
Right.
Yeah, if you want to direct that towards the sewers, they'll be able to help you with that.
Okay, that's what I thought. I'll give him a call right now. Thank you.
Sure. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Thank you.
I thought that, but I wasn't sure. So there we go. Hands free first.
Yep.
Sewer department.
Give them a call.
From Gorski's office.
Hey, maybe I got the wrong number. Who can I talk? This is Kaz on City Taxpayer Hotline, the controller. Who's in charge of like cleaning up the sewers?
The sewer department?
Yes.
That's who it would be, the sewer department.
Yeah. Is there anybody in particular, or?
Stano is the one who's in charge of it.
Can you connect me to him?
He's at a different building, so you have to dial an outside line.
Okay, that'd be good. What's the extension number?
1350.
Okay, thank you.
Now you got it.
We're on the roll.
We're going to hunt this guy down.
Good afternoon, City Rear Sewer Department. Don speaking.
Hey, Don, Paul's not there, right?
He was on Lakeside probably about 20 minutes ago.
Oh, hey, this is Kaz. I'm on Taxpayer Hotline.
Yeah, how you doing, Kaz?
Good. Hey, we got some people complaining about the area around 35th and Holland, and some of Holland too, from 35th up to 38th and around that area, about like weeds growing in some of the sewer covers and stuff like that. Can you have someone take a look at it?
Yeah, that's East 35th 35th and Holland, from East 35th to East 38th, Kaz? Or
Yeah,
what?
roughly in that area. I think actually he said it goes like from 33rd to 38th
33rd to 38th?
on Holland, and then behind Jefferson School, that area on 35th Street.
Okay.
He said that you got things that look like tomato plants growing up through there.
Okay, what we'll do is we'll put this on the list and we'll get to them to be vacuumed out, and I'll even leave a note for Paul in the morning.
Okay, because he said something like dirt built on them and different things, so.
We'll get them cleaned out, Kaz.
Thank you.
Okay, take care.
Very good.
Well, they're usually pretty good people down there, I know.
Yeah. I mean, if you call them and let them know what's going on, it may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, because I'm sure they have a list of things that they need to get to, but they'll get to it.
I remember like a year ago, there was a problem up around Tech High School. It was done within 2 months, which is not bad because they had to tear out everything. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Kaz, I read that article Pat Howard wrote this weekend, and
Funny you should mention it. John's got it here. Go ahead.
and what happens if we fall below 100,000 in population?
Well, I'm not exactly sure, but I think, from what I understand, you fall into like a different, this may or may not be true, but you're not viewed then as like a 100,000 or plus city, which could affect a lot of, am I right, John? Some of the funding is based on
your population. Some of your federal funding is based on population that, of the size of your city.
So it could be pretty detrimental.
Absolutely.
To the whole region.
Well, that's why, when you see the International Institute bringing in all these different people, I mean, it's a bad thing on one hand, but it's a good thing on the other hand. One hand washes the other when it comes to that, because we need the extra federal stimulus.
Well, I'll be truthful with you. I don't think we've counted the people truly,
Well, it's scary that our population is getting older and older, and we're getting less and less younger people.
It was amazing, as I read that article when he pointed out that the older people are staying put and the younger people are searching for greener pastures.
Well, there's really no jobs. I mean, there's no manufacturing job. The middle class overall in the United States is shrinking. Let's face it.
Yeah, it is.
And to blame Joe Sinnott for poverty or not doing anything about poverty, it's kind of it's not true. The whole cycle of poverty has started a long time ago. You can start federally with our free trade agreements with China. I mean, everybody wants to go buy a $500 32-inch big screen LCD TV for $400, but we don't want to pay our workers here. We'd rather ship our jobs over to China and let their workers make a little bit of money, and our workers are suffering, so the middle class is slowly decreasing.
Yeah, the government down there is kind of, to me, has lost its way just a little bit. They need to become more enablers for businesses and become good friends to the businesses that are here, and build that relationship where they want to be here. I think that maybe a special rate for water might be something to consider.
That is a great idea. What is one thing that we have an overabundance of is water.
Yeah.
And we should, instead of the LERTA, which we've scaled back, we have water. We have one of the best water systems in the United States. So we need to use that, even if we have to give them free water. It's gotten to the point where the free market society and the way that our federal government does not control the tax bases in each state. Not only is our country fighting against other countries, but our state is fighting against other states to bring businesses here. So now we have to give them handouts. We complain about people on the access card or on welfare or public assistance. Those people that come in here with these businesses, due to our own trade laws, we have to give them money. And then everybody wants the government stay out of business. Okay, but then the businesses come to us for the money, for the taxpayers for the money. You
really have to partner up with them. I know it's almost a contradiction in terms, but you need to partner up with business and get them to stay here and get them to come here.
Well, you're right. Here was a comment that was made. Remember when Erie Insurance got all that little help and everything? people are all over, and John and I have said for a long time, there's nothing wrong with that because A, they pay taxes.
Yeah.
After their taxes are done, and they hire people to work, just like Smith's Provision, any of them.
Yeah. Jesse, the thing is, and parking's such an issue downtown, and I know you know it because you work down there, and I just wonder, our parking authority seems to struggle to exist almost, let alone build what's needed down there. I know for a fact that Gannon and the Erie County Courthouse would love to have some parking, paid parking down in that 5th and Peach Street area. But I don't think the parking authority has the wherewithal to build anything.
I think
Didn't they do a study?
They did a study on the one that was supposed to go where McDonald's was.
Okay, yeah.
And McDonald's didn't, understandably so, McDonald's didn't want to budge.
Okay, all right, yeah.
And I know that, I don't think the parking authority, the parking authority I remember when I worked there was more than willing to go out on a limb. Now remember, when they do that, they're going to issue new bonds that are going to cause parking rates to go up.
Yeah.
That's the the give back is the fact that the parking authority has never come to the city for funds, but they're self-sufficient.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking that there are places they've looked to expand.
There's nowhere to, I don't think, I'm trying to, as I sit here,
But
I can't think of anywhere to put one.
But there's still some empty, because if you look behind, they built the one behind the Renaissance building, the old Baldwin building. That doesn't get full usage all the time. So I think...
I'm talking right down here. The courthouse people would love a parking ramp.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But the one solution was where our other mayor wanted to build it, and like I say, understandably so, McDonald's blocked.
Yeah.
Maybe the idea, this would hurt in the short term. Maybe we need to tear down the old one that at 7th and Peach.
Yeah.
And build a higher one.
But that one they're building, the area insurance is building, sure is a dandy. I mean, it's going to be a beautiful property too when it's all done.
I guess it's 1,000 some spaces.
Oh yeah.
And maybe I think it's supposed to be the biggest. And there again, you got private business that did it.
Yeah, that's right.
But you know what? They'll probably lend it out for the. They'll probably allow it to be used for civic center events. So you may have to pay, but.
Yeah. Smart business. That's all. Okay.
Well, there you go. You brought up about giving out benefits. This country thinks nothing of building stadiums that cost millions of dollars.
Yeah.
For teams that play 81 or 10 games a year in these places, and then we got all upset when a business comes in, and we give them a little help that's going to create long-term jobs.
And look at you, Cass. Your kids are out of town.
Every one of them, and
because they just can't live in the city they grew up in. They can't afford to live here and exist.
I was sad. I was telling John I was up in Duluth this week, and Duluth is another city just like Erie. It used to be all the iron ore came out of there.
Yeah.
That's back in the days when iron ore came down to lakes.
Yeah.
They went to Pittsburgh and Youngstown, Buffalo to make the steel. Steel went back to places like Erie to be manufactured or sent on to Detroit where they made cars. All those ports now are empty. What are they? They're tourist meccas.
Yeah.
Now, you can't make any,
we've had to change our economy from, it showed in the statistics, where it was in this paper somewhere I'm looking at. Now the manufacturing is way down, but
or
tourism is up.
Yeah.
And there's very few family sustaining wages in tourism.
Right.
You can't raise a family working at Sarah's.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, but maybe, just keep our fingers crossed. That's all we can do.
If Pat Howard had, and I read this article, and he's right, I keep telling people in Erie, the city of 138,000 is gone.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Now you got Mill Creek at 50,000, so there's your city.
Yeah, that's
Erie
right.
and Mill Creek. But the county has remained flat for 20 or 30 years.
Oh yeah.
And you know what? They talk about Allentown.
Yeah.
They were lucky that they're getting the influx of New York and Philly people.
Yeah.
But they're taking advantage of that.
Yeah.
I wish we had something like that, because right now it's not a pretty picture,
No, it's not. It's not. But listen, I'll let you go. It's 3:06.
I know. They gave us the 1 minute sign like 3 minutes ago.
we got a good engineer. He doesn't mind hanging around a little bit.
Yeah, he don't care.
I'll talk to you, Cass.
Hey, thank you.
Well, Kaz, I think today was a fiery show. I
We'll have
liked
to
it.
go on to Mr. Howard's comment.
We'll have to, yeah, next week we can take a look at that.
I think it's symbolic of what has happened to much of our area, you know.
Right. And I thought Dave Brennan also brought up some interesting things about the viaduct as well. But we could talk about that next week. We've been out of time for like 5 minutes now. So thanks for having me.
It was a spirited show, and that's why we liked it.
It was.
Thank you to all the callers, and I mean every one of you for calling.
Even the ones that were mean to Kaz today.
No, I don't mind. You know, you're free to contact me off the air or come to my office. Be glad to discuss it.
Your love is unconditional for the tax. You have unconditional
I have an
love.
open door policy. I
That's
always
right.
have. Maybe not the brightest thing to do in the world, but
Right.
it's okay.
It's all good in the end. Thanks for
We'll see ya.
watching.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching the Taxpayers Hotline Show on Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9.
They call it Canal Place. It's beautiful. You know what I miss in Erie? I was thinking about it.